Hello, everyone. This is Likita. Thank you so much for being here. We are truly grateful. Please don't forget to rate our podcast and leave us a review on any platform that you're listening on. This will ensure our podcast reaches a greater audience and people that are going through their 20s. We appreciate the support we've gotten so far, so thank you so much. Now, let's get into the episode.
Wait,
But we don't
guess
have
what?
to have it figured out.
Guess what he
What?
said?
That's what
No,
they
not
say.
again.
But sometimes it's like
I
there's
know.
so much free will.
But how
It's okay,
does a
take it easy.
20-year-old
I know.
travel
Life
so
is
much,
hard.
but then
we have broke
it's so hard. We have to figure so many things out. Money, marriage.
You know, I don't understand my
relationships.
friends.
Yeah, sometimes it's just so confusing.
I love you.
Having like a session here right now.
Or maybe it's just conversations over coffee. I hate confronting
Hot
people.
chocolates. I would love a hot chocolate right now.
Do you want to start a podcast?
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the 20s in Transition podcast, everyone. We are your hosts, Anusha and
Likita Gopinath, and in this episode, we're going to be interviewing Anusha Kannan, and we're going to be asking her some questions about her experience with living alone. First, I want to know why you decided to live alone. I know we usually, I have friends who live in the US, and they started off by living with roommates because that's the normal thing to do, but you didn't. You took up an entire apartment for yourself. Why did you do that?
I don't know. When I was thinking about moving, I did look for roommates, but then it was just too long. The process was like, oh, and it had like a lot of things that I didn't know about. They were like, do you vape? Do you smoke? Do you do that? And this I'm like, this is too long of a process. I didn't even take me that long to shortlist my university. So I'm like, I don't think I want to go through this interview process. And I also always knew kind of like I want to live alone. Like I just need my space. I'm going to a new country. I can explore. I can do whatever it is that I want. I kind of wanted to explore that. And somehow it ended up happening. And it's the best decision I've ever made. I think it's the best decision I've ever taken. And I absolutely love living alone. And I still live alone. And hey, nobody come to my house and kidnap me. Like, come on, I have 10 bodyguards. I'm just going to put that out there. But I absolutely love living alone, and I think it's a very normal thing in the US.
He's going to come to Cleveland, so don't worry about it.
That's an insult, but that's true. Uh, but I think it's such a fun experience, and I have pros and cons of it. But I would say it's a very basic thing. If I say like, oh, this is a pro, this is a con, like a lot of people would know all of those things anyways. But I love living alone, and when I first moved to Boston, I don't live in Boston anymore, but when I used to live in Boston, it was very scary. The first couple of hours, it was scary. And then I was like, this is fun. I like it. I can arrange my stuff. I can go out whenever I want. And that's the biggest thing. I can do whatever I want. And my mom and dad can say anything. That was the biggest thing for me. And I loved that.
Yeah, I dream of that someday, moving out. Although I don't think that will be possible in Chennai, but yeah, one day. But yeah, I mean, what are some of the things that you learned living alone? And I don't want cliche answers, okay? Like I know everybody will give these generic answers of like, it made me independent, things like that. But what are some of the unique things that you learned?
That's intriguing. That's a good question. I was about to say, oh, I became independent. I paid my bills. And yeah, you just got me there. I think, wow, the first thing I would say is, waking up in the middle of the night. There are days when you have like, I just want to talk to someone. And yeah, I can call you. I can call any of my friends in India. I can call my parents. I can do that. I know that. But it's not like you have them in person. You cannot just walk out of your bedroom and be like, I need to talk about this. It's not like in Chennai, I could just walk out and wake my mom up and be like, I need to talk. She'll give me one, and she'll be like, it's because you're always on that phone. And I get that. But I mean, I could still, talk to someone. I could still meet up with friends every now and then. And that was not what was happening to me when I moved out and I was living alone. I had those days, I would just feel like I need to talk to someone, but then I didn't have anyone. So that's when I started learning how do I process all of these emotions and stuff just by being myself, just by being with myself. And I started journaling. I've been journaling for a long time, but the journaling that happens like at the midnight, like when I'm like, I need to dump all of these thoughts. So many things are happening around me, and it's so silent. And in the US, it's so silent. It wasn't that silent in Boston, but it's very silent in Cleveland. So I'm like, this is I don't know if this is great or if this is not great. I don't know, but I like that it's helping me, learn things that I probably wouldn't have experienced if I, chose to have a roommate. I probably would have just walked to my roommate and be like, "Do you want to hang out and let's just have fun?" Because I don't want to think about this, and that's probably not healthy. I'm forced to deal with whatever comes up, and that is one of the things that I would say. The second thing is, that's a thinker. There are a lot of things, and I just don't want to be generic. I'm thinking, thinking, thinking. I mean, again, it's just about how to handle things alone. Just figuring your things out. You just have to. There's nobody you can rely on, and I like that sometimes. But it's also like it's a reminder of how important it is to have a community, how important it is to have friends, how important it is to interact with people in your life. And I think a lot of people misunderstand me when I say I love living alone. I've had a lot of people ask me questions like, so what do you think, you can be alone forever? So what do you think, you don't need anyone? That's definitely not the case at all. I don't believe in that at all. I think everybody needs someone. Some You need your own people. And I mean, I often quote this of that, like, caveman attitude. Like, we were all in tribes. So I don't think it's natural for anybody to be alone forever. But sometimes I like that I can go out and then figure out, like, my social battery is going like way below. Now I need to go and spend some time with myself. I like that, and I don't have to come home and again talk to someone. I don't have to interact with someone. I'm like, this is great. I can just go to sleep. Nobody's going to know what I'm doing when I'm at home. I absolutely love this. But that's one of the biggest things for me. And I'm also, when I'm a really big morning person, so my morning routines are very important to me. I think if I had a roommate, that probably wouldn't be the case. I'd be like, oh, she's sleeping. I should sleep too. This seems like a good idea to sleep now because she's sleeping in. And that's not exactly healthy. A lot of good things have happened, but I'm not going to glorify, this whole living alone concept. There are definitely cons to that. There are definitely points where you'd feel like, why am I even doing this? Because I've had a lot of friends reach out to me and ask me, like, how are you living alone? It was so scary to do this. Like, how are you doing this? I'm like, it's scary at times. It is, because especially as a woman, living alone, it's not that easy. But I think you also learn to deal with a lot of things. And then it's great when you have a roommate, at some point in the future. It's like, okay, I know how to take care of myself, but I also have someone now. And I would never say, like I said, I will never say, like, you have to live alone forever. I don't think that's ideal. I don't think anybody can do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just sad, man. Living alone forever sounds so sad. But I want to know if you would ever be able to live with another person, or like, would you ever want to go back and live with your parents, like after living alone for like, I think 2 years? Would you be able to do
See,
that?
I think living with my parents is something I can do, because I love my mom's food. That's the only reason. I'm just kidding. I think I can do that because even growing up, I had my own room. I'm an only child, so I always had my own space. I always had my own thought process. Always in my own world. But I think that privacy aspect, not the privacy, I wouldn't say privacy. Maybe the correct word would be just like the freedom to, like, get up in the night and do whatever I want. That might not be possible because my mom would be like, "Why are you not sleeping? Go back to sleep. It's 3 a.m." I'm like, I'm not doing a seance, but I'm awake. I think that's something I like when I'm living alone. I'm like, I can get up at 3 a.m., just turn on Netflix and watch something, and nobody's going to ask me anything. Not that I've ever done that, but that sounds like a good idea to do. And I can order cake and eat at night. It's not a good idea, but something I can do. I've done that. I can say that I've done that. That's not something I could have done
Okay.
at home. My mom would be like, she'll be like, it's 3 a.m. Why are you getting a cake now? I'm like, I'm craving a cake
Yeah.
and I need a cake. Yeah,
Oh my
and
God, that
I don't
sounds
have to
so
answer
nice.
questions. I love that. I did that once. I'm like, you know what? I just need a cake. And I was watching a movie and I was having cake, and that was fun. I think everybody should
Yeah.
live alone at least once in their life. And I don't think I am really scared, about living with someone else, like a roommate or something. I'm like really scared about that. I have I have like absolutely no idea how I'm gonna handle that. It's really scary to me. I
Yeah,
But I
I
don't want
wish
to,
I knew.
I don't want to. I feel like I've reached that point where I'm like, maybe I should have a roommate. But I don't think it can be a stranger. It has to be someone that knows me really well. Like you should move here and then we can live together. I know you won't.
The US, I mean, I don't know. The US doesn't sound too tempting for me. But
Yeah.
maybe I'll come visit
I
you.
think Yeah, I've been begging her to, but she's just straight up
Yeah,
just
because like
ignoring me.
literally, not even half, all of my friends are in the US. In every single corner, I have people that I know and I'm so close with. So the only thing that's pending is me packing my bags and visiting all of y'all. But the US visa is such a
Yeah.
pain in the ass, the process. Anyway,
Yeah.
so what my next question is, what advice would you give to someone who's like considering living alone or like moving out? I mean, you're not like a 30-year-old, like a 40-year-old person to give advice, but in general, like our peers, our age people, what advice would you give them?
First thing is, why do you want to live alone? Just think about that. Listen, for me, the inspiration was I just want to have like my own morning routine. I romanticize the shit out of my routines. So that was the main point for me. I'm like, I can get up in the morning. And I tried this when I was in Chennai with my parents. I tried this, like getting up in the morning, having my lemon water, and my dad would just start talking. I'm like, can you please? I'm pretending to be in a YouTube vlog. Can you please stop talking? Like, I just want to do my shit. But I liked when I moved out, I was like, this is my morning routine. Nobody can judge me. I can just do whatever I want. And I love that. I love that I could just get up and have that silence. Not that Boston was silent, but it was still nice. I could do my own things, and nobody would judge me. Do whatever you want. Whatever the routine may seem like, why is she doing this first and this that one second? I'm like, nobody's there to judge me. I'm not going to tell you what I did, but it was fun. Like I can do whatever it is that I want. And I mean, think about it. Like, why? What is your motivation? Why do you want to live alone? For me, it was the routine stuff that I wanted to do, and I also like the aspect of I can go out to meet friends. I generally don't have people over, but I can also have people over if I wanted to, and I didn't have to ask my mom. I can have people over, and it was fun. Like my friends can stay as long as they want to. They don't have to go home. So they're because they're also living with roommates, and it's still like you can hang out, for how many hours you want. I remember when we used to hang out, to be like, okay, okay, it's 8 o'clock. Okay, okay, it's 9 o'clock. Let's all go home. Like that's not a concept, and that is something I find exciting. And yeah, the second thing would be just think about the cost that comes along with living alone because there's nobody to share anything. Like you have to put in the money for everything. If you want to have like a good setup of sofa and all of that, like the living room setup, you need to think about if you can afford it. Because when you first move, your house is going to have nothing. I mean, unless you're just moving internally within the city. If you're moving to another state or a country, and if it's a country, it's even more harder because the currency is different, and obviously I you need to think about that, start budgeting and make sure that you have enough money because you wouldn't realize how important the things that you have at home are until you move out. It's like, god, I cannot believe I had that. I cannot believe I had that. I slept in an air mattress for over a year. I'm like, I miss my bed. I miss my bed at home. Small things, but they matter a lot when you move out and when you live alone. And the third thing is, I would say, have things that you can do by yourself because you cannot rely on everyone to always be there for you. I don't think it's fair to because, especially when you have friends that have roommates, they'd obviously want to do things with their roommates and not include you in them. I mean, I'm not saying anybody's like, don't come, but they might want to do things alone. So at the same time, and people might have partners and they might want to spend time with their partners. So you need to be mindful of, okay, if nothing happens, what am I going to do with myself? Like, how can I engage myself? And I think it's great, trying to figure out ways to spend time with yourself, go on dates with yourself like that. I think that's a beautiful thing and that everyone has to experience it at least once. I'm not saying, again, this is not a prolonged thing. You can only do it for quite some time like that. But it's still fun. If when you do that, it's like, okay, I know how to spend time with myself. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. And I think some people should experience that at least once. Yeah. I guess that's
Yeah,
about the
I
advice
mean,
I have.
good, that's good advice. I really like the third one, right? Like, you need to have things to do alone. I mean, if you're someone who's constantly around people and, are constantly part of like huge groups, then I think it'll be like a huge shock for you, like starting to live alone and doing things on your own by yourself. Yeah, I really like that advice, and I totally relate to having like a morning routine and have it interrupted by your dad. Cause tell me about it. Tell me about it. I try to meditate in the morning, and I constantly get run into like my parents or someone just keeps opening the door and saying, "Hey," I'm like, "I just need half an hour of silence, please." please, right after I wake up. And I absolutely hate noise or anybody talking to me like the first 1 hour of waking up. I my
See,
parents
I
talk to
think we'll
me.
make good roommates. I think we'll be good roommates because I don't like when people talk to me as soon as I get up. I'm like, shut up. Don't
I
talk.
know. I cannot say that to my parents,
Yeah.
obviously, but I just don't answer
I'm
them.
also not saying that to my parents. I'm just saying like that's how you feel though.
Yeah. I mean, my dad asked me something, but you know how I'll answer? I'm just like,
You guys should
just
go to YouTube and watch this
never
on video.
utter a word. They'll be, why are you not answering? I'm like, just give me 1 hour of silence, please. So I totally relate that, but gotta save that rent money, man. I mean, mm, makes me travel, makes me save money. Also living with the
Yeah.
parents. I mean, how long am I gonna be living with my parents? So yeah.
True. It's very important. Yeah. I mean, it's not like I moved in Chennai, like internally, and moved out and
Yeah.
be like, you know what? I'm too good for you. I'm going to move out. Like, I don't think I would have ever done that. I would just be like, no, let me be your baby. Like, let me just stay at home. I think it's really nice to live with your parents. And I also think it's like financially smart to live with your parents. If you can, do it. Like, don't move out unless you have to. Like, you have your jobs like far away, or you're moving to another country or to another city. If you're living in the same, I mean, I get that a lot of family situations are, we might not know
Yeah.
them, and we get that. But if you can, just try and live with your parents for as long as possible and save that money, that rupee, that dollar, that pound, whatever. Save it because, I mean, how many times have we seen a lot of, really influential people saying that, like, you need to live with your parents for as long as you can and save
Yeah.
money and do
Yeah.
other things, like just go on a trip every, like, be like Likita. Just go on trips, do things alone like that. You don't have to live alone to experience life alone. I
Yeah.
like that this has become like a trend, like people have to do things alone. I love that it's become that way because I remember when I was in college, I think undergrad, third year or fourth year, I went to a movie alone for the first time. I was like, this is great. I don't have to wait for my friends
Wait, you've
to
done
say,
that?
yeah, I've done
What
that. Yeah.
movie?
I went to IT or It 2, part 2, alone.
Oh,
It
that's
was in VR Mall.
nice.
So it was in VR Mall in Chennai. Shout out VR Mall in Chennai. Sponsors. Yeah, I think that was the best experience. I loved doing that. That was my first time going out alone. And then I started going out. When I started driving, I started going out alone all the time. Went to Starbucks, would go to that cafe or sit there. I'm like, this is so much fun. I think that's where it started. Like it started like that for you. It started like that for me, with not having to ask our friends, like, hey, do you want to come with me? Like, I'm going. If you want to join, great. If you don't, I'm still going. Like that's it. I think that's how it started for me. And I was like, maybe I do like spending time with myself. I'm pretty fun. Wow. Never knew that. And that was a great turning point. And when I moved out, it's been like 2 years since I started living alone. And I still have no regrets. I have no feeling that makes me think, maybe this was a wrong decision. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I just don't feel it. I've always felt like this is the best decision I've ever taken, and I absolutely love it. I mean, imagine I can do whatever I want. I can cook whatever I want. I can maybe keep my house clean, maybe not keep my house clean. Whatever it is, it's up to me. Nobody can say anything, and nobody can judge me. Nobody's gonna know that I love that. Nobody's gonna know anything unless I tell them, and that's like. I'm so mysterious. I love this. Love this part. Like
Oh,
nobody knows. I love it.
yeah.
I absolutely love it. It's the best feeling in the world, you know, to actually. I'm not someone that keeps a lot of secrets, but I'm like, I can actually keep secrets if I wanted to, but I know I won't. But it's like I can if I chose to, and it's fun.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds fun.
yeah, I think I've been too influenced by watching all of these like vloggers living alone. I'm like, this is great. I should do this, and I did it. Yeah, it was the best decision. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I think that's all the questions I had for you. I mean, if there's anything you want to add, I think you've pretty much spoken about your entire experience and I enjoyed it. And I'm so glad that you did not regret your decision and it's something that's changed you
Yeah.
as a person. Yeah.
It definitely has. I think, I mean, again, people should live alone at least once, just at least for 6 months. Try it. It's fun. You should.
Yeah. I mean, hostel was
Calling a
nothing. It's not you cannot even compare it to living alone. Maybe a little bit, but you have food,
Yeah.
you have things to do, like you have friends around you, all working towards the same goal. So you can never
Yeah.
compare staying in a hostel or away from home to living alone. But yeah, I think
Yeah. I
sometime
mean,
I'd like to do
staying
that. Let's see.
staying away from home is definitely something, I think we've both experienced that, and that's amazing. But yeah, traveling alone and living alone, all of these things are completely two different things. I mean, I don't think you can compare living alone to traveling alone as well, because traveling is like you're out in the world. You don't actually have like a safe space. Living alone is like
Yeah.
I'm in my home, like I'm sitting at my home, like I'm paying the rent. It's my place, legally mine. So it's great. But when you're out in the world, it's like anything can happen and I have to face it. And I think,
It's
yeah, learning to manage that, learning to be aware of your surroundings at the same time, experiencing things in the moment, being in the moment, and all of that is so important that you only learn that as you keep traveling, as you keep. I love the feeling of boarding a flight alone. It's like the best feeling in the world. Like, okay, I'm a big girl now.
oh, tell me about it. I'm
It's
craving that
the
feeling.
best feeling.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, follow Likita on Instagram. She's gonna do something now. I can see it coming. I can just see it.
Wait, what? I didn't even tell you that. Oh, part two is coming up today, by the way, of the series of my open water
I've been
diver course.
pushing her for so long. I'm like, when is it coming out? My God.
Yeah,
Yeah.
today.
Follow at what's next, Likita. This
Are you
is
done?
fun. I like this. Yeah, I'm done. What did you guys think? You tell. Let me know. Have you guys like lived
Yeah.
alone? Are you living alone? Do you guys want to live alone? Why? Let me know. I'm very curious to see what people
Yeah.
are saying.
Use the NGL link and DM us. And with that, we've come to the end of this episode. We really hope you guys liked it. Let us know what you think. Like Anusha said, do you want to live alone? Are you thinking of living alone? Are you already living alone? Let us know your experiences. We'd love to know.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.